Have you ever considered how a single moment can change a community forever? In Moscow, Idaho, such a moment occurred with a tragedy that remains etched in the minds of its inhabitants. In November of 2022, the unthinkable happened. 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogan, Zana Knodel, and Ethan Chapin, were brutally murdered. They were found in their campus-adjacent home, each having been stabbed multiple times while they slept. It was a horrifying act of violence that sent shockwaves through the community. Moscow, a small, tight-knit town, was left reeling. The tranquility of the community was shattered, replaced with a palpable sense of fear and disbelief. The university, in response to the tragedy and the ongoing investigation, offered students the option to learn remotely, a decision reminiscent of the adaptations made during the global pandemic. As the search for the perpetrator continued, a chilling unknown loomed over the town. The absence of immediate suspects intensified the fear and uncertainty. The once peaceful town was now haunted by a brutal crime, and the residents were left grappling with the terrifying reality of an unknown threat. Meanwhile, law enforcement officials were working tirelessly to identify the killer and determine the motive. The investigation was relentless, with every possible lead being pursued. Yet the mystery of the heinous crime remained, deepening the sense of dread and unease that had taken hold of Moscow. In the face of such a horrifying event, the residents of Moscow were left grappling with a terrifying reality. The peace and security they once knew were shattered, replaced by a chilling uncertainty that would linger in the days, weeks, and months to follow. The tragedy had forever changed the community, leaving an indelible mark on the collective consciousness of its inhabitants. With the town in shock, law enforcement officials began an arduous investigation. The gruesome murders of 4 promising University of Idaho students had left the community paralyzed with fear. The initial stages of the investigation were fraught with uncertainty and a lack of tangible leads. As days turned into weeks, the residents of Moscow, Idaho grew increasingly restless, the fear palpable in the air. The authorities left no stone unturned. They meticulously combed through the victim's home, looking for any clue that could help identify the killer. The students were viciously stabbed while they slept, a horrifying detail that sent chills down the spine of every person in the town. Law enforcement officials were on the hunt for the murder weapon and were investigating the possibility of a stalker. The community watched, waited, and hoped for a break in the case. Then, almost 7 weeks after the murders, Brian Kohberger emerged as a suspect. Kohberger, a PhD student in the criminal justice program at Washington State University, was arrested in Pennsylvania, where he had driven home for the holidays. The white Hyundai Elantra linked to the killings was found at his parents' house. Kohberger's arrest brought a mix of relief and shock to the community. Here was a fellow student, described as a model prisoner during his detention, now in custody for the brutal murders. The evidence against him was compelling. Investigators had traced the car linked to the killings to him and had matched his DNA to genetic material found at the crime scene. Yet even with Kohberger's arrest, the community could not rest easy. The details of his relationship with the victims and the motive for the killings remained a mystery. Was it a random act of violence? Or was there a deeper, darker motive at play? Despite the arrest, many questions remained unanswered, leaving the community in a state of uneasy anticipation. The town of Moscow, Idaho, remained on edge, haunted by the tragic loss of 4 of its own and the uncertainty that loomed over the ongoing investigation. Justice can often feel agonizingly slow, especially for a community in desperate need of answers. This is the reality for the residents of Moscow, Idaho, as they await the trial of Brian Kohberger, the man charged with the brutal slayings of 4 college students. The trial was initially set to commence in October, a date that has come and gone without resolution. The prosecution, in an attempt to secure the ultimate punishment for the heinous crime, is seeking the death penalty. This pursuit has inevitably prolonged the legal process, as death penalty cases require an extensive exploration of evidence, circumstances, and motives. On the other side of the courtroom, the defense is challenging the DNA evidence that initially linked Kohberger to the crime scene. This move further complicates the proceedings, adding layers of scientific scrutiny and debate. The delay of the trial has left an indelible mark on the community. The families of victims Zana Knodel, Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Goncalves, and Madison Mogan are left in a state of suspended grief, their quest for closure postponed. Their pain is echoed in the broader community, where the shock and horror of the crime still linger, casting a pall over the town. Moreover, the postponement has done little to curb the speculation that has been swirling on social media. Platforms like Facebook, Reddit, and TikTok are rife with theories and conjecture, as digital detectives comb through every scrap of information. A Facebook group dedicated to the case has amassed over 227,700 members, illustrating the widespread interest and the collective desire for justice. As the wait for justice lengthens, the community continues to grapple with the lingering effects of the tragedy. In the face of adversity, it's the strength of a community that truly shines. Following the cruel slaying of Zana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Maddie, the Moscow, Idaho community rallied together in a remarkable display of resilience. In the midst of the unspeakable, the community found strength in one another, their unity a beacon of hope in a sea of despair. The University of Idaho, a cornerstone of the community, stepped up to provide support to the grieving families and friends of the victims. The university's administration, faculty, and students alike stood shoulder to shoulder in solidarity, refusing to let the tragedy tear them apart. They offered a hybrid learning model, providing students the option to learn remotely or on campus, a measure that balanced the need for safety with the importance of continuing education. In an act of collective mourning and memory, a vigil was held for the victims. This gathering served as a testament to the enduring spirit of the Moscow community, a tribute to the lives lost, and a bold declaration of resilience. The warmth of the candles flickering in the night symbolized the enduring light of the victims' lives, a light that could not be extinguished by tragedy. The community also took tangible steps towards ensuring student safety. The local law enforcement intensified their efforts, working tirelessly to restore a sense of security within the community. Awareness campaigns, community meetings, and increased vigilance became the new norm, all aimed at preventing such a tragedy from ever happening again. The resilience of the Moscow community, however, extends beyond these immediate responses. Their unity and strength continue to shine a year later. The Facebook group dedicated to the case, with over 227,000 members, is a testament to the community's unwavering commitment to justice and their refusal to forget. Despite the pain and fear, Moscow proved its strength through unity and hope. The resilience of this community serves as a powerful reminder that even in the face of the most profound adversity, we can find strength in each other, and together we can overcome. As the town of Moscow looks towards the future, they carry with them the hope for justice and healing. A year has passed since the brutal slayings of Zana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Maddie. These were students who had dreams, ambitions, and a lifetime of possibilities ahead of them. Their absence is deeply felt in the community, and their memory continues to inspire a collective pursuit of justice. As the community waits with bated breath for the trial in the summer of 2024, they hold on to an unwavering belief in the justice system. The trial will be a crucial step in the healing process, providing answers to the many questions that still linger, and hopefully, serving justice to the one responsible. The community's support for the victims' families remains steadfast. They share in their grief and stand with them in their quest for justice. The strength demonstrated by these families, despite their unimaginable loss, continues to be a beacon of hope for the entire community. In the wake of this tragedy, the town of Moscow has also taken significant strides to ensure the safety of its residents, particularly the students of the University of Idaho. The implementation of a hybrid learning model, heightened security measures, and an increased emphasis on mental health resources are just a few steps in this direction. Yet, the most profound lesson learned from this tragedy is perhaps the power of unity in the face of adversity. The way this community has come together in the pursuit of justice and healing is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. In the end, it's about remembering and honoring the lives of Kaylee, Madison, Zana, and Ethan. It's about ensuring that their memory lives on, not just in the hearts of their loved ones, but in the fabric of the community that they were a part of. And so, as the town of Moscow moves into the future, it carries with it the weight of this tragedy. But along with that weight, it carries the hope of justice, the strength of unity, and the determination to ensure that such a tragedy never repeats itself. In remembrance of Kaylee, Madison, Zana, and Ethan, Moscow moves forward, carrying the hope of justice in their hearts.